So for the 100th car to attempt the Lightning Lap, I decided it was time to drive the Lotus E23. Now, the biggest issue I struggled with on this car was wheel spin. Now, if you're not aware, the Lightning Laps are running in Forza 6 here. All the cars are run without traction control. And with this Lotus, the boost on this car kicks in like a sledgehammer. So if I gave it too much throttle too quickly, or if I was still in the process of turning and the boost kicked in and caused the tires to spin, I'd go off the track, or I'd be fighting a tank slapper. Now, my solution for this was to try and run the lap in as high a gear as possible, and for all intents and purposes it worked. But coming out of the slow corners here, it just, because I'm in a much higher gear, it bogs getting out of the corner, and ultimately kills the lap time. So the current race car that's at the top of the Lightning Lap leaderboard is the McLaren MP 44 that ran about a 2:0616 seconds. And I thought, in saving this car up to be the 100th car for the Lightning Lap, that the Lotus would be able to beat the McLaren. But again, just fighting that wheel spin and trying to predict when torque was going to hit made it very difficult to get even close to that. So coming to the close of the lap here, you'll see just how far I'm off. Again, time to beat 2:0616. Pretty close. No. So I decided, let's try it with traction control on. Now, a little side story. Back when I was learning to drive, 1989, both my parents had manual transmission cars, and I found it very difficult to try and learn to drive on their cars. With trying to do steering and turn signals and gas and brake and check your mirrors, look both ways, to try and incorporate the clutch and the stick shift in with that, just was more than I could process. So what my parents did is they went out and bought me a 1976 Datsun 710 from one of my mom's coworkers for $100, which should give you an idea of the condition that car was in. But it was an automatic, and it was the perfect car for me to learn to drive on. And fast forward a couple of months, and I've got my driver's license, I'm comfortable driving, the whole process is almost second nature. That's when my parents taught me then to learn stick, and I picked it up in about 10 minutes, because it's now only adding a couple of new things into a process I was already familiar with. So how does that apply here? Well, with traction control on, I don't have to worry about trying to manage the wheel spin. I can focus on turn-in, braking, steering, track out, all the things I need to focus on to get used to driving this car and set a good lap time. The other side benefit of having traction control on is traction control was telling me when to expect the boost to kick in and for the wheel spin. So we're hitting towards the end of the lap here. The other thing I wanted to find out was, if I turn traction control on, which is what this Formula One car is used to running, is it faster than the McLaren MP 44? Again, time to beat 2:0616. Are we quicker? Oh yeah, it's quicker. So now that I've gotten used to it with traction control on, let's now go back with traction control off. You won't notice much here coming out of the first corner, because I think I was in 5th gear both times. But what you'll find is, when you start getting into some of the slower corners, I was able to actually drop it down a gear, sometimes 1, sometimes 2 gears lower than what I had been running, and really made a big difference. So here, I was 6th gear through here before. I was now able to at least get it down to 5th. Still very ginger, but One of the things I love most about these X-Class cars is the uphill S's flat out. Oop, little mistake there, I'll take it though. I think it was in 6th gear through Oak Tree. Now that I had a better idea what to expect, I can at least get it down to 4th. That'll make a big difference. And 4th gear. Still fighting it a little bit. Probably a little too late to get on the gas there, but and here I'm much more confident heading down here to Hogpen. So, spoiler alert, this isn't quicker, it's not quicker than the McLaren, but how much time did I knock off that 202.3? Or a little over a second. 100 cars in the books, still a lot left to go. There'll be a link to a Google spreadsheet in the description if you want to check out the full list of cars I've run so far. But if there's a car that's not in that list that you want to see me run a Forza Lightning Lap, leave those suggestions in the comments. I'll leave you with the replay of the E23's official Lightning Lap, and as always, drive safely.